Hi guys, it's Oracle Annie, and I'm here for another tarot reading. Now, if you've been following the videos up until now, there seems to be a theme around fear, change, and so I feel like the best thing to do is to see if there are any messages regarding the fear of change. So let's start with an oracle card message from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Let Baron read. Let's see. So the first card is Orphaned. Okay, so maybe you have a fear of not having any sort of support around, like if you make a mistake, if you change something and people do not approve, will they abandon you? Or it could be that you might feel completely alone, that if you go against the people that are supporting you right now or who tell you what to do. Okay, so what else? We got two cards. So you have the fork in the road, which is the two decisions, right? And we've been talking about that for a bit as well. And the observer, and we have the fox, right? Which came out in the last reading, like the image of a fox. Interesting. It's interesting to see the animals here. Hi. I'm back. So what happened was that, first of all, it was funny that I mentioned the animals and then the cat jumped on the table. But also what happened, and I think that it could be related to this orphan card, is that there are people who depend on you to finish something. The thing is that you're always the one that needs to finish it. So it's almost like you can never really change because these people depend on you. So that's a possibility out there for somebody watching this. I would also like to say that if you haven't watched the last video, I'll link it below, but I'll also link it at the end of this video so that you have some sort of continuity in the story, okay? Now, fork in the road says you're gonna have a choice to make. From what I'm seeing right now, one of the choices goes one way and loops right back around. And the other choice is like this winding road. There's like a mountain as well on that side. And you really can't see where it leads. Maybe you don't know which side is the one that's gonna loop back around. So you're only gonna know after you make the choice, after you've been on the road, then you'll know what's what. Here we go with the cat again. What is it, Pancho? I'll be right back. Now we're back. You might hear him eating his food in the background. Okay, so I want to see what this observer card means. Let's see, 49. Perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences. So much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. Okay. So what this card is saying is that, obviously, not to say that how you feel and what is expected of you is wrong or it's incorrect or it doesn't exist. That's not the case at all. If anything, it makes total sense to feel this way, to feel like if we go against the people that we identify with and that we love, that they won't be there for us when we need them. It's normal to be afraid. But what this card is suggesting is to look at everything from a more neutral point rather than like from how you feel. So instead of looking at it through an emotional lens, try looking at it from a logical sense, right? And instead of looking at the situation from how others feel and like their expectations on top of that, try to look at it from like a logical standpoint, right? So if you have a certain goal in mind, what are the things that you have to do to accomplish that goal, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how other people feel, like just logically and neutrally, what do you need to do, right? And so that'll help you make a decision in what way you go. That's kind of what I'm kind of picking up so far. So let's see here. The Lovers in Reverse, which is the ending of a long-term commitment. This could be a commitment to a loved one. It could be a commitment to a habit, to a way of thinking. Okay. The Ten of Swords in reverse. It would seem to me that this has to do with I'm gonna say that this orphaned card here, it's not like you just imagined this fear, right? It's not like these emotions are coming from nowhere. This is telling me that it's coming from an experience that you've already had, and it's been such a great experience here with the Ten of Swords that it's almost like you believe that that is the only way that it can work out. Meaning that if you make any more changes, the same result as this painful experience will continue to be the result. So this is talking about betrayal. I'm going to say backstabbing is the word, one of the words that's coming up here with the Ten of Swords. Now the Ten of Swords in reverse is an indication that something is over and you are and that you've accepted it. So at this point, I would say logically, you know that something's over. You know it's time to, it's either over or you've accepted it, that it needs to be over. But that doesn't make the feelings, these orphaned feelings, these alone feelings, these abandoned feelings, less painful or non-existent. So then you have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and the King of Wands in reverse. Okay. So the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, with the Ten of Swords in reverse, with the Lovers in reverse, seems to be some sort of major divorce here. Major ending to a family situation. The King of Wands in reverse is suggesting a sort of I was going to say something, but now that I'm looking at the animal and I know about this card, I have to think about what it is that I actually want to say or what the actual message is and not just like automatically say something. So the King of Wands in reverse to me is a problematic individual because they're too focused on superficialities, overly focused on control. However, in this card, it's the Tasmanian Devil. And in this card, it's saying that in the upright position, it's saying that it's very unexpected, and how this animal can actually hurt you and be very vicious in a moment's notice, right? So now that I flip it around, I kind of have the sense that this situation has taken some sort of vitality or some sort of sense of protection, some sense of wanting to fight, some sense of standing up for yourself, some sort of sense of like being that that person that's just going, and from one moment to the other, it could be anything. This like unexpected, this wanting to be unexpected or like, I'll get more clarifiers about that, but it's something like, I just feel like there's a vitality that has been drained from you. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, now that I look at that orphan card, right, I can see how this major loss, this major ending of this family situation, can really make you even into a different person, somebody that maybe you don't even recognize yourself, you know? And it could be, you know, when you no longer have the passion or the vitality for what you once had, that could be a sign of sadness and like maybe a temporary bout of depression. So let's see. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse, it's like it's just losing everything that you've saved up for. It's losing everything that you've built for. It is a major loss, right? So, of course, like, this feeling of orphaned is not imagined. It's not, like, you're not just being, like, weak, right? Like, that's not what's happening here. You're not catastrophizing. You're not, like, it's coming from a very real experience. And then you have the King of Swords in reverse. And this King of Swords here, look at how all the cards are in reverse. And how this card is asking for neutrality. Interesting. We'll see what that means later on. Okay, so the King of Swords in reverse. I mean, if I put it up right, you can see the power in the card, the power in this type of individual. Okay. And when I put it in reverse, I just get a big sense of confusion. Yeah, a big sense of confusion. Plus the lack of vitality. It's like you could have days where you're just like lying on the floor in the middle of your apartment, home, whatever, and like just the hours go by and nothing has happened and you haven't moved and you haven't eaten and you haven't gone to the bathroom, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just here, I'm just existing. It's what I used to call, there's an Avid Brothers song that says, I'm just a living time machine, or breathing time machine, something like that. And I really resonated with that lyric when I was like going through all the years that I experienced sadness and depression, you know? So, yeah, it's just this like, it's like this weight of energy. Could also be like the sense of like this gray cloud over your head of confusion and like, what do you do? Where do you go? And it's like the only thing that exists is the memory. Like, you understand that it's over, but it's still like this memory of like how much it sucks that you're going through this. Six of Cups, yeah, it is circling back to the good memories, and you know, even though it's over, you remember the good times, and then you get stuck living in the past. And this could even be overindulging in substances to continue living in the past. And now we have the Five of Cups. And this is a really sad scene, you know? Because this copy is dead. And it's almost like it's time to move on, right? It's time to move on from what used to be, right? The feelings of what used to be, and embrace new feelings, embrace new places. The Five of Cups is also a call for more discernment, lacking perspective. And then the Seven of Swords in reverse, it's an indication to come out of denial. I remember this card had a very interesting animal and message. So I'm going to look it up. 1 second. The Seven of Swords in reverse. What animal is this? Oh, it's a ferret. Okay. Interesting. We have ferrets, we have rabbits, we have capybaras, we have otters, swans, pigeons. I mean, in general, these are very, you know, sweet animals, except for the Tasmanian devil, the eagle, and the pigeon. So it's interesting. Okay, so the ferret says, we all have a sneaky side. That also kind of goes with the fox. It is a necessary skill for our survival. Whether you have to be the one who is sneaky or be the one able to spot others in their sly ways, the art of deception is not to be taken for granted. Smoke, mirrors, and sleight of hand all have their place. The real trick is knowing when and where to use them. Okay. So yeah. So in the way that this card is representing that energy, in reverse, it would mean that the sneaking is being done on you. Instead of you having, because of the lack of discernment, the confusion, the need for perspective, the lack of vitality, the betrayal that's indicated here, you are the one that's lacking the ability to see what's real and what's an illusion. So yeah, okay. That's normal when you are feeling sad and even depressed. Okay. Let's see about this. Yeah, so you could be standing here at the fork in the road and truly be confused about which way to go when you're feeling like this, right? Okay. So what else? Seven of Cups, confusion, right? Too many choices. Maybe it's not as simple as just two choices. And actually, look here, there is, the monkey could be saying, hey, go this way, go that way, you know, distraction. And then you have an arrow that goes this way, and one that goes this way, and one goes that way, and one goes that way, another. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the monkey. It's just like, it's not just two roads. It's like 6, 7 roads. And this just adds to, like, what do you choose? What do you choose? If you were going to make a change, because we're all coming up to make a change, what change do you want to make? And so, yeah, so you would need neutrality, you would need clear-headedness, you would need energy to be able to go down any of the ways that are presented to you. And you would need to stop living in the past so that whatever road you do take, it doesn't just loop back around to where you are now. Though that is also very common. No, not common. That's also a possibility, and that also happens. And, you know, that's where wisdom comes from, when you do it too many times. So what else about the fear of change? Two of Cups in reverse, very similar to the Lovers in reverse, right? Ending of a relationship. Okay, let's ask a different question. Because I feel like we're covering the situation that is coming up, right? Like, we get it. I get it, you get it, we got it. Okay. So, we know what you need to make a decision. We know what you have to make a decision. What is another question here? Oh, okay. What would you need to do to gain perspective? I mean, this card is indicating some distance, but what does that mean exactly? Okay, so I am back again the next day. I picked up and everything, and now it's the next day. And maybe I shouldn't be giving advice because I recorded advice, but then the footage didn't exist. So let's just see if there's anything else that you need to know about this Observer card, and then I'll just leave it at that. Also, I can't talk while I shuffle. Sorry. That's not my forte. But I am including the link to the song that I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, because the lyrics may really have a message for those that are resonating with this reading. The Abed brothers basically write poetry, right? So if you don't like folk or country music, that's fine. You can just read the lyrics, and I feel like it's going to be very powerful for this reading. So what else do they need to know about the Observer card here? Oh, that was easy. The Nine of Swords, right? So anxious thoughts, stressful thoughts, right? This is calling for, you know, having more neutrality. And this could really be talking about logically or systematically going through every single thought and just asking yourself, is this my imagination or is this a message from spirit? Now, if you're not used to communicating with spirit, then there could be a lot of deception going on that you don't know about, right? But a lot of these swords are worries that do not have any basis in reality. It's just your emotions getting the best of you and making a thought worse than it has to be. Making a thought that's not real, real. Okay. The Ten of Wands in reverse. So there's letting go of those thoughts that are absolutely not real, that are creating disagreements, separations, distance, conflict with others, right? Because you can't be on the same page when you have the Four of Wands in reverse. You're not. There's a lack of harmony when the Four of Wands is in reverse. And then you have the Two of Swords in reverse, which is, you know, making a decision about choosing logic over emotions, or choosing emotions over logic, and then just having to roll with that decision. Now, based on the message from this reading, you have been choosing emotions over logic. This card is saying you need to be a little bit more logical. So this is telling me that the consequences for choosing to continuously, in this moment, for the situation, choosing emotions over logic, right, is what you're going through right now. I don't know how to fit this in. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It's like it's like holding back from starting something new. So yeah, this would be holding back from making any changes, right? But then what does that do? Nine of Cups in reverse, that leads to dissatisfaction. That leads to things feeling like they're not complete, they're not in order, they're not, the lack of abundance, like lack mindset, could also be an indication of holding on too tightly to, like we already saw, things from the past. But it could also be holding too tightly to the sadness and to the emotions. I know that when I was going through depression, which wasn't really depression, but I just call it my depression years. Whenever I would feel sadness again, I'd be like, oh, it's starting again. Let's just go into it. And I would dig and dig and dig and just grab onto that sadness and go like, you can't go anywhere because I'm depressed. And it's like, it wasn't that at all, right? Like, that is what I did, but that's not what it was. And then the Knight of Cups. So, I want to say, because I kind of want to say that, well, okay, in this card, right, we have the blue-footed booby, right? And what this bird is representing here is standing out from the crowd. But how is he standing out from the crowd? By like the thing that makes him unique, which is the blue beak and the blue feet, right? And with the cup here, you know, you could have a very unique emotional perspectives that need to be shared instead of keeping it inside and letting it loop around. This is saying there needs to be an outlet for your emotions instead of, we saw earlier an indication of not only holding on to the past, but potentially using alcohol to numb the pain. And this could be an indication that it's important to let those emotions out, to let them go, right? But how do you let them go? They don't just vanish, right? They have to be processed. And in order to be processed, you have to do something. You have to write them down. You have to paint them out. You have to express them somehow. You know, journaling, very private. Nobody has to know what you're feeling, but it comes, as long as you take it out of your body, that is healing in itself, okay? Let's see, anything else? Okay. You have the Empress and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Well, I'll say this. The Empress knows that she can always create more. If something didn't work out, no worries. I can do more. I can do it again. Has that resilience to keep going, to keep trying, to keep building, to keep creating. And it's inevitable that there will be losses along the path of creation. But it's not to let that disappointment wash over your entire life, right? Like, loss is a part of life as much as gaining. It is a game. It's a game of balance. Of course it is. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there, and hopefully this message has helped you embrace change. And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for giving me a like. Every time you like one of my videos, then YouTube knows to recommend you more of my videos. And a lot of my messages are timeless, even though I've channeled them during a specific date. My messages are timeless, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like my videos or my messaging, and I will see you next week for a Reiki boost. Bye!